That is so good. Milk straight from the carton. There's a hair on it. Oh. Alright. With so many genres taking a step into the world of pop punk, it's always refreshing to be transported back to something definitive. That's not to say that the direction that pop punk has taken is necessarily the wrong one. You know, I think its collaborations with genres such as emo rap, hip hop, and trap are very well-rounded mixes, and the plethora of artists that have dabbled in the scene has increased tenfold as a result of these. Artists like Nothing Nowhere, Travis Barker, Kenny Hoopla, Travis Barker, maybe Travis Barker too. Am I missing anyone? Travis Barker. They're just some of the artists that have taken centre stage in this move between Generation 3 and Generation 4. But I think amidst this transitionary period, it's always nice to return to something definitive, return to the roots of pop punk. And that's where today's quick EP comes in. Chicago outfit Farhampton independently released their sophomore EP, The Lives We Leave Behind, on May 28th. And it is very much a shift back to this classic pop punk form. This charming and captivating 5-track record is the first full release from the band in over 4 years. And as much as I love 2017's You'll Never Take My Side, this release is much more refined and feels a lot more suitable for a contemporary pop punk audience. They stick to the tropes they know and understand, which is why I argue this is Farhampton's best work to date. So, good job, Farhampton. Farhampton. It's like Southampton, but really far away.
It's so far away. You know what? I'm beginning to think this wasn't worth the trip.
The Lives We Leave Behind opens with its lead single, Resilient, which not only introduces us to the preeminent themes of the record, but it also establishes itself as a very strong pop-punk opener. I actually wrote about this single back in January when I first introduced the Sunday Singles segment, back when I was a naive 20-year-old man. Now I can talk about this song in detail as a naive 21-year-old man, with crippling depression. After a brief rhythmic introduction, Resilient kicks into gear with its weighty drums leading this musical barrage. This opener is defined by its hard-hitting lead guitar hook. Its presence traverses the entire track and guides every other instrument around it. Alongside this lead riff is Farhampton's ubiquitous chugging rhythm guitars. These backing guitars are bulky and rapid, providing a substantial accompanying tune for the lead to thrive with. It's all these combined elements that makes this track what I call definitive pop punk. Every piece comes together to form this passive-aggressive yet nostalgic sound that defies all other genres. All this confident playing is chaperoned by frontman Eric Matula Matata. I don't have a cat, so I just use this bag I found. Eric's vocals are deep but not overbearing, resulting in the guitars and his vocal tones complementing each other in a manner that I wasn't expecting. This kind of surprising partnership is also evident within the lyrics of the song as well. Resilient introduces us to the themes of persistence and moving forward. The line, "There's a million ways to break you down," is most pertinent to this notion. Everyone has their breaking point, a lot of which were hit considering this was written in the pandemic, but it's important to know that all of us can push through. I, for example, do not have a million ways to break down. Nah. I have way more than that. It's these aspects that make Resilient such a strong introductory track, one that sets up the entire record in a dynamic and energetic manner. Next is Portland, which keeps up the pace of the previous track but lays out a more emotionally impactful narrative. At least I think Portland is next, right? Is it? I feel like there might be something in between. There must be. Hold on, let me check my notes. Yeah, see, look, even my notes are saying that something's missing, but I don't really know. I don't really know what is. Oh, I just got it. Yeah, this is a bit. The second single, Something's Missing, comes next and takes everything that Resilient has already bestowed onto us and amps it up that little bit more. With a longer intro, this song brings in everything from the guitars to the drums in one massive hit, arguably starting off the track stronger than its predecessor. Farhampton once again stick to their guns, crafting an infectious pop-infused chorus with its distorted rhythm guitars and overarching lead riff. This chorus is about as authentic as modern pop-punk gets, with its memorable lyrics, deep raspy vocals, and bouncy instrumentation. Portland, which does actually come next this time, I wouldn't do that joke twice. Or would I? God, that PunkStance, he sure knows how to milk a joke dry, doesn't he? Portland carries on the pop-punk tropes, but takes on a more emotionally charged lyrical shift. It discusses a once-loved partner moving away to Portland, I assume. It's not very clear, apart from, you know, the title of the song and the lyric don't come back from Portland that said like 4 times in the bridge. You know, really vague stuff. This, while taking on the relationship notion, a very common theme in pop punk, also carries on with the underlying themes of the EP. Moving on from past relationships, it is super tricky, and a lot of people have gone through something very similar, but Portland is about accepting this struggle and persevering in your own life. That's why it sings about not coming back from Portland. You know, they've accepted the situation and found peace in their own life. And it's a nice twist on the usual theme. Plus, Portland is like really, really far away.
I mean, look, I ain't no geographical genius, but I think getting from there all the way to over there is going to be pretty tricky. And yes, this is a scratch-off map, and yes, I haven't scratched any of them off yet. I don't get out a lot.
Finally are Don't Count Me Out and the closing title track, both of which take very different approaches. The former, for example, focuses heavily on its lead guitar riff and how it combines with the rapid guitars and drum hits. While the song begins gradually, it instantly breaks out into a catchy, quintessential pop-punk track, and is, for now, my favourite one on the record. Its hard-hitting instrumentals jump from starting slow and gradual to this barrage of guitars and drums, then back to the more reserved breakdown, one that gives us time to cool off before the EP's big solo. And that's all just in one song. Don't Count Me Out fits a lot into its 3 minutes, as well as its ideology on persistence once again. I mean, this one is quite literally in the title, even if some of it's in parentheses. But that's some important punctuation, bro. Of course, following the penultimate is the end, which leads us to the closing titular track, The Lives We Leave Behind. I didn't need to explain any of that, did I? This 5.5-minute finale is the band's most passive but sentimental track on the record, and its more leisurely pace helps in expressing these more emotional ideologies. It begins with a mighty drum beat as highly echoed guitars progressively increase in volume. I don't know why, but in my mind, those beginning echoes sound a lot like the menu from Assassin's Creed 4. You know the one. I can't play the song on here, but you just gotta take my word for it. That's exactly how it sounds. Either way, what ensues is a deeply passionate ballad about true love and accepting life for what it is. Finding the perfect person for you is a very difficult and arduous cliff to climb, one that in many cases seems insurmountable at first, but once you find that one, suddenly everything that's happened before, everything that defined you, just goes away. Past mistakes aren't as debilitating as they once were, or as Eric puts it, we are the ones we both got right. I was gonna put another Eric-based joke in there, but I'm running out of time. Even in just a 20-minute EP, I'm amazed at just how much variety Farhampton have incorporated into 5 pop-punk tracks without losing what makes it authentic within the genre. It's got heart, catchy riffs, thought-provoking lyrics, and at its core, a relatable message about love and progression and hope. Farhampton have more than proven themselves to be a prevailing band within the underground pop-punk scene, and hopefully the only lives they're leaving behind are the ones where they aren't signed to a record label. So, good job, Farhampton. Right, I'm gonna go and watch The Lion King now. For some reason. Oh, I'm gonna be so sick in a minute.